and I go on the video and it's at like 500,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck? It's been like 3 hours. It was crazy. I'd never had a viral moment like that. I refreshed that page for hours.
I would too.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. I stayed up till like 4 a.m. that day, just like, what the fuck is going? Just basking in it, letting it wash over me.
Yeah, there we go. How's it going?
All right, it's going good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.
Of course. Happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm Adam, and this podcast is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the EP that you have coming out.
Awesome.
What, next Friday, right?
Yes, next Friday.
Awesome.
Next Thursday at 9.
Okay, next Thursday at 9, midnight Eastern time. I worked on the radio for a long time, like 17 years, and I was on the West Coast, so records would come out at 9 our time and midnight East Coast. So we always had the availability to play it before anyone else. It was pretty rad.
Sure, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, man, so nice to meet you, and I appreciate, like I said, you doing this today. Yeah. So I guess first off, talk to me about, you were born and raised in St. Louis. Is that what I saw? Yes,
born and raised in St. Louis. I moved out to LA in 2018.
Okay.
St. Louis was dope, man. I say dope. It was a good place to grow up. Like definitely, you know, I played football. Did a bunch of stuff growing up. Like wanted to try everything and just be involved in as many pockets as I could. And you know, so went to high school there. Really got into football then. You know, I was freestyling. I was. You know, I started making music on a cracked version of Logic Pro.
There you go.
And put that shit like straight out on SoundCloud. So that was like my roots of getting into that. But nah, it was a cool place, St. Louis.
That's awesome. I read that you're named after Miles Davis.
Slightly. Yeah.
Slightly? Okay.
It's like one of the namesakes.
One of the factors in the name.
Yeah, definitely. My parents listen to a lot of jazz music. They love jazz music.
That's killer.
And my dad, honestly, he listened to every single thing under the sun. Like I got in the car one time and he was playing polka music. It was on, like he was listening to that like, you know, public radio where you could just everything.
Oh yeah. Just anything. It's like supported by listeners.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So you obviously grew up with music, or parents that were fans of music. Anyone a musician in your family?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the only one, man. Because I remember it was. I mean, my mom she would sing to me sometimes. And then my dad, when we go to karaoke, he'd pull out the Frank Sinatra. I'd be like, hold on. I think I got a little bit of this from you.
Okay.
But no musicians in the family. No.
Okay. But when would you go to karaoke? How old were you when you'd go? Like you'd go as a family to sing karaoke? That's amazing.
Yeah, it was always like, it was never like, hey, tonight we're gonna go do some karaoke. It was just some random thing that would happen. Like we were at this place called Viviano's, and it's just like an Italian restaurant, bombest tortellini in Chesterfield, Missouri, by the way.
Okay. I'll hit it up when I'm there.
But they were just having random karaoke, and he was singing Frank Sinatra. I got up there. My go-to karaoke song is Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow, that's a difficult one.
It gets the people going.
Dude. I'm just gonna go with some Queen, like the hardest song to sing. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like an 8-minute long song with like 14 different parts.
Sure.
That's what I rock when I go to karaoke.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool that your dad would get up and do it. Like my parents you could not pay them to get up and sing a song karaoke. I think that's rad.
Yeah, my dad was like the most extroverted human being I know still maybe.
Okay.
So
So you have that personality though too. So I could see that.
yeah, I get a lot of that from him for sure.
That's awesome. So when did you start? Like, did you take piano lessons as a kid or anything like that?
I took guitar lessons for
Okay.
probably a month. Not very long, but I was always on the singing thing. Like
Okay.
I love to sing so much. I'd be singing on random shit. The second I got my computer, like I was on photo booth, just like recording videos of myself singing. Just I don't know what it was at that time. Like, and then I remember in music class, like in elementary school, I actually liked to do it. Like I was belting that shit out while everybody else was like upset that they had to be there. Like I was making my voice heard. I loved that. And then started freestyling, and that was going well. And I was like, damn, what if I wrote this down? Like I actually gave myself a second to think about what I'm gonna say before I say it. And that's really what got me into start like writing music.
And was that where you're still in high school or did that come later?
Yeah, this was like I was probably 15 at this
Okay.
point. Yeah, because I was freestyling like in middle school with my little group of homies, and
Okay.
then like high school, and then started smoking a little weed, and then the creativity really
Then it
started
really
to flow
sparked. Yeah, there you
in
go.
the old cipher circles. And that's when that was high school, and that's when I was like, yo, what if I just like started putting some of this shit out, like
Mhm.
and it got to a point where it like felt good enough to me. I liked it enough, and like people were like, yo, this is like kind of hard, to where I was like, fuck it, let's put it out. And we
And you
did.
were doing that on SoundCloud when you were in high school still?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
that's when SoundCloud was. I got into SoundCloud at like the peak SoundCloud time. This was like probably 2015, 2016.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was perfect because I put out, I think this was senior year, and I put out a remix of Maria I'm Drunk, the Travis Scott song,
Uh-huh.
and it blew up on SoundCloud. Blew up. This was like promoting Sounds era. Promoting Sounds put it on their page.
Wow.
I I met my manager from that song because it was like going around like St. Louis like wildfire. Like, and every time I would go anywhere, because at that point as well, I was wow, I'm covering all the topics here. Hold on. I'm all
No,
over.
I love this. Is amazing. This is what I want.
So I was getting recruited for football at the time.
Mhm.
So for going to camps and everything, and these were around Missouri and Iowa and all over like Purdue, Illinois, so like everywhere like close to Missouri enough to drive. And so every time I'd go to one of these, I would like play my music or like freestyle for everybody, and I'd be like, yeah, take that home with you. And it'd go, and like when we'd go on spring break, I'd freestyle, in Florida, and there's people from everywhere. And so like I really started off on like the word of mouth shit. Like
That's cool. You were like touring, but doing it through like the college that were talking to you about going and playing football there. That's so awesome.
Exactly. I think at that point, like I already was so in love with music. Like I didn't even really want to go to college. But
It was but I mean, you obviously really good at football too, to be at that level for colleges to want you to come play for them. I mean, how do you juggle football practice, which I'm sure was insane, like in training all the time, even through high school? I remember seeing the guys that played high school football, and our team sucked. I think we lost every year or every game. But to like be at that level and then also working on music, you must have been like so burned out all the time.
Low key, I don't know how I got good grades. I don't really remember, because I was like, it was football practice. I get home from football practice. I don't know. I think when I have like so many things that I need to do in a short amount of time, they get done. And then like when I have all the time in the world, like less gets done. So I guess I work.
You were good under pressure.
Yeah, I guess so. But nah, it was it was a lot for sure. But man, it was just like so important to me that it didn't matter, you know.
Did I see that you put out like a Christmas record or something like that when you were younger?
Yeah, it's turning into a Nardwar thing. Yeah, man. I burned like 100 CDs of, I think I sang like, and this is on like straight garage band. With a Bluetooth mic. It might not even, nah, I think I had the Bluetooth mic at that point. Or sorry, Bluetooth, USB.
USB mic. Okay.
Yeah. So I sung like I think 8 songs, like the classic Christmas songs. Burned a CD, took a picture in a sweater in front of the Christmas tree that was up.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then like used an iPhone app to like put Merry Christmas, like Miles' Christmas album or something. It's somewhere. I have it. It exists. I don't know where it is. I can find it, but yeah, I think that might have been the peak of my career, actually.
Were you handing them out to kids at school? Like you have 100 copies of it, and then who are these going to? Were they Christmas presents?
Yeah,
family Christmas presents.
So this was like right before. This was this middle school? Yeah, this was middle school, right before like Christmas break, and so I went back to school and handed out all my copies. I was like, Merry Christmas, gave some to the teachers.
That's so rad.
It's definitely out in the world back in Chesterfield, Missouri.
That's gonna be like an eBay item here pretty quickly.
Shit.
So you ended up going to college for football. You went to Dartmouth College for football, but you had this buzz around you and these managers or people reaching out to you on the music end. Like, was that something you said that you just went to college because you decided to go? But music was already at that point. That's what you were aiming towards.
Yeah, I went to college more for appeasement purposes.
Sure.
Parental appeasement purposes, and like, you know, just because like they convinced me so hard. They were like, please, it's an Ivy League school, like you can do anything. And like when I went for my visit, they knew I did music at that point too. So they were showing me like they had these studios, and they're like, oh, you can get these studios anytime. We got this like dude that works, he's a mastering engineer and blah 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 blah. And so it was like all this like music central stuff. They're like, we can get you blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, hold on, all right. And then, you know, and she was like, just try it 1 year, just go 1 year and try it, and if it's not it, all right. And so I ended up going, and none of that music stuff happened.
Of course not. Like once they get you in, they're like, okay, you got practice at this time.
Yeah. It was one of the rougher periods of my life, because I actually messed up my ankle before I went, like the summer leading into going to Dartmouth, and so I ended up being the team manager, which I was just filming practice.
So you still had to go and take part in all of this stuff, but you were
take part in everything, film every practice, every game, go to meetings to watch the film that I had just filmed the day before. And dude, man. I was falling asleep in all the meetings and getting yelled at. I showed up like 5 minutes late to being 15 minutes early one time, and then I had to go to like morning conditioning at like 5:30, and I was just like, yo.
And do what? Like film the other guys?
Because at that point, like I'd healed up enough, so I was in the weight room now, and I was doing the conditioning and shit. You know, all the worst parts of football with like none of the like actual fun.
Right.
Like I was filming up in like a 25-foot scissor lift by myself, like in the cold,
man,
rain and the wind. Like it was, I mean, because you know it leads into winter and it's fucking New Hampshire. It's like
it's freezing
outside. It was fucked, man. that shit sucked. And I was like, you know, in this sterile ass dorm room and just sad, and all my managers, everybody I do music with, they're in LA. It's like 80 degrees and
Sure.
making music and they're all smiling and I'm like, damn, what, how does happen? I'm supposed to be over, I'm on the wrong coast.
Sure. And then obviously you get to LA. Was it did you do that 1 year and we're like, okay,
Oh
fuck this,
no,
I'm
man.
out?
Nah, man, I made it 4 months.
Okay.
Made it 4 months. Yeah, because it's so they're on the quarter system. And
All right.
so you go, I went for the first quarter and it was just hell. It was like the worst 3 months of my life. And so then go back and I'm just completely burnt, you know, from football, from like trying to be creative at all under all of that. And then, you know, school. And like I ended up like dropping a class first term. I got 2 B's in
There
my
you go.
classes. So let's go, because you only take 3 classes a term. So came back second term, didn't go to class, didn't do anything, but they had a mountain and there was a shuttle that picked you up at the library, and I went snowboarding every day.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't go to a single class, did not show up once, and didn't do anything other than snowboard for that month that I was there. Ended up taking a personal term, which is like every person at Dartmouth gets one, and it like wipes the slate clean, or so my counselor told me. So then I dip out to LA for the rest.
Oh, that was during the personal term.
I was during the personal term.
Oh, smart.
So I'm like, I mean, shit, this would be like a cool little taste. So I stayed in LA with the homies for like a month and a half to end off that term. And then like by the time it was time to turn in the paperwork, she was like, oh yeah, so due to all your grades and your absences and everything, you'd be avoiding a suspension if you took this personal term. So you can't come back for 3 terms.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you ain't want to mention that in like the first meeting that we had about this magical thing that wipes the slate clean.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up, I couldn't go back for 3 terms. My mom wanted me to fight it, write appeal letters and all this shit. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, this is the nail in the coffin. I never wanted to do this in the first place. Like, perfect.
Right. It was almost like a blessing. You're like, okay, well, now I'm in LA and I'm going to do music.
It was hardcore blessing. It was so awesome. So I got done with LA, went back home for a little bit, drove, oh God, what was it? I think it was 18 hours there and back with my very upset father to go grab my stuff from college.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And and came back home, and you know, I told him what I wanted. I was like, I know what I wanted. I want to go out to LA. I want to do this shit. Like, I don't know how. I'm like, I could get a job. I'm gonna get a job. I worked at a cupcake shop.
Nice.
I was a front-facing cupcake expert, and these cupcakes were like fat and good, and won Cupcake Wars twice. So like, it wasn't no like little small operation. Like we were really slanging cupcakes.
We were really slanging cupcakes.
Yeah. So I did that for a while, and then
well, real quick, was your dad aware of the success you had on SoundCloud and on it? Was that something that was talked about? Like,
yeah, for sure. I mean, like, there was success on SoundCloud, and then I had some songs doing pretty well on Spotify at that point.
Okay. So you were put songs out when you were in LA during that period of time?
I was putting songs out before I left for college. I did some in high school, and then I think I had one song come out while I was at Dartmouth, actually.
Okay.
It's called Whole Lot of Gang Shit.
Oh yeah, I heard that one. It's like hashtag whole lot of gang shit.
Oh, that one's still on my Spotify. That will never go anywhere.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's just an ode to, like, you know, where I started, and you know, what I sounded like when I first, you know, started this shit.
Yeah, your sound has evolved so much, and I love what you're doing. Like right now, the like guitars in hip hop, you know, combined is so cool.
Thank you, man. It's been I've tried everything, just because I feel like I'm decent enough at everything to really dip my toe into every possible pocket. And when I started doing this, I was like, I don't want to have a genre. I don't want to pick a lane. I want to do everything. And like, kind of narrowed that down a little bit and honed it into this, like, you know, hip hop, pop, rock fusion thing that I got going on. And I feel like it's the perfect pocket for me because it allows for so much freedom within it. You know, I get to take the coolest parts of everything that I like in every genre and like bring it into my sound, which I think is so dope. And you know, when I first started, I wanted to be a rapper so badly, like full on Migos, Wiz Khalifa. Like I was like, I want to be a rapper. And my name was Mixed Millennial at the time.
That's a good name.
It was a great name, bro.
It was a good name.
You know, unfortunately, I'm not actually technically on most websites a millennial. The cutoff is like a year before I was born.
Oh,
that was like a little tough.
A little controversy there.
That's what I was like, damn, people are gonna find out that I'm not, and then it's gonna go off, and then it's like next news story, like he's not actually
a fraud.
Yeah, bro. I was like, that's gonna be great for my career. But yeah, so then I, you know, because it was really a lot of the environment, just because in St. Louis, man, it was trap heavy. Super trap in St. Louis, and like you put on some pop music, man, you were getting clowned. And so, but you know, I had to listen to it in secret, you know, in my room, because I still fucked with that shit super heavy. And then I came out to LA, so this is this is like when I was visiting LA, and it was like, holy shit, people like listen to pop music and they love it and they fuck with it out here. So do I love that shit. And so went like from full rap to all the way bubblegum pop. And then like, I think over like this next, you know, those next 2-3 years was really finding that balance between that hip hop and that pop, you know, because I just love to sing so much. And I
was gonna say, your voice is so good, and that's why it because you can sing and you can rap, so it's like when you have that like grit to your voice, so it works really, really well with the pop rock rap thing you have going on now. But even like you had those like What in Tarnation, like that, it works really well with kind of like that outlaw hip hop sound too.
Shout out What in Tarnation, man. that was the quarantine anthem.
Oh, is that when you wrote that?
Yeah. So
okay. Well, tell me where we're 2019 into 2020. What did you have? Like, were you back in LA at this point? Were you still in St. Louis?
So I did my cupcake thing, and I said I'm gonna be out in LA by September. And August 21st, 2018, I moved out to LA. I lived with a couple homies, shared a room, like full like base LA start, like over by USC is where I
okay.
Out here. And you know, I was putting out music. I lived with a homie who had a vlog. He was putting it in the vlog, so that was giving it traction. It was cool. And then you know, it was going. Nothing was going crazy, but you know, it was going. And then put out some more songs, and fast forward to COVID. Then I go home for 2 months to St. Louis, and I was like, I hadn't started TikTok yet because I didn't. I was one of the like skeptics. I was like, I don't want to be on TikTok doing no dances, being like, it's just goofy and corny to me. And then I was like, then I was home. I did my like 2 weeks of doing nothing at the beginning of quarantine, because that's like the only time you're ever gonna be able to do that in your life. So I was like,
sure,
I'm playing video games, bro. Fuck this. and then after 2 weeks, I was like, I physically can't do this. Like, I'm not meant to be doing nothing. So I was like, what would be funny for TikTok? Let's start doing TikTok. See if we can figure this out. And so I made What in Tarnation. It was a verse and a hook, because I had freestyled in some of the vlogs that I was in, and people on country beats, and people loved it over country beats. And so I was like, let's rock it. So made it in my childhood bedroom on my Shure and my Apollo, and it blew up on TikTok. I think I got like 100,000 followers like overnight.
Oh, wow. So that's where it started, really, was out of that video.
What in Tarnation really really was the start, I would say.
Okay. It's funny that you didn't want to get involved in TikTok. Just for me hearing your story, because you said that you like went right on to photo booth when you got a computer and you were singing into the camera on there. Like that to me is like TikTok 10 years ago.
I don't think I was thinking of it in the music sense.
Oh, because it was all dance challenges and stuff in the beginning.
Dance challenges and little kids and like all that stuff. And that's when like, because TikTok has been around for so long, and the Musically had been around.
Yeah, my son had Musically, and he told me about the app, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that people are on it. And there wasn't a whole lot of people at all when it was on there. And so when it changed, he's like, it's now TikTok. It was Musically. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and because I remember seeing it in the App Store, I didn't even have it. I think before like I don't even remember where I got it, but all I know is that back then, like if you got 1 million likes on a video, like, or no, sorry, 1 million views. If you were getting 1 million views, like your video was viral.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so like One Tarnation hit 1 million and fucking.
That must have been wild though, for you to see that, just being like, wait, what?
It was literally, because, you know, I had probably 300 followers at the time. I think that was like my second week of doing TikTok, and I had 300 followers. Like from you know, a video had like 1,000, 2,000 views. I was like, oh, let's go.
Yes. That's still pretty good though. You think about it with 300 followers.
Yeah, so it was a vibe. And then
it was a vibe.
I post the One Tarnation thing, you know, forget about it, turn my phone, whatever. And then my phone starts blowing up that night at like 9 o'clock. And I look at the phone, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like something. And I go on the video and it's at like 500,000 views. I'm like, what the fuck? It's been like 3 hours. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Oh, man. I can imagine that being like, for me, it'd be like the lottery, just like, or like a slot machine. It's like, you got to keep going back and refresh. Like, oh shit, now it's at 50, like 500,000. Now it's at like 700,000. Like I would get so addicted to it.
Oh, I refreshed that page. I'd never had a viral moment like that. I refreshed that page for hours.
I would too.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, bro. I stayed up till like 4 a.m. that day, just like, what the fuck is going? Just basking in it, letting it wash over me. No, but it was awesome, man. And you know, so I ended up mixing it myself, like on my Mac. Put it out on Spotify from there. I think we were using Stamp, or I think we just put it out on DistroKid. We were like, fuck it. Like we've been working with some people from Stamp, but we put it out on DistroKid, and that was that. And it did numbers, and it was cool because, you know, at that point I'm independent. I never had like, music wasn't making me too much money at that point. But like, you know, this song was actually getting plays, it was getting streamed. I was like bringing in checks every month, and we were putting it back into the song, doing marketing and shit like that. And it was awesome. But it opened up a lot of doors. It, you know, I got to work with these super dope producers, actually. Danny Myich and Wizard Blood, Drew Folk. Actually, they had another beat. They heard the song, they had this beat. They were like, hey, it's kind of Western-y, but it's like cooler. It's like more in my pocket. It's like way more like, you know, One Tarnation was completely a joke. Like it wasn't supposed to do like what it did. You know, it was just like,
right.
Oh,
it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened, which is awesome. But you know, I wanted to, okay, I don't want to be the country trap guy. Like, I don't want that to be what we do here.
Right.
So we had this beat for Desperados, it turns out, and it's this more, you know, it's this like, you know, grittier, like kind of outlaw vibe instead of like this like country twang, you know, joke. And so we made Desperados, which was awesome. And then I worked with Danny Myich again on another song, When You're Sober. And this was
that was around that same time, because that's a new one that you've put out, right?
This was in 2020.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So we made When You're Sober, and Drew Folk, actually, he was like, yo, can I send a couple of these songs to an A&R homie of mine. Little did I know that was Johnny Minardi, his manager, also my A&R at Elektra. Sends it to Johnny. We end up getting on he loves it. We ended up getting on a call with everybody over at the label. I think it was like 3 days later. It was a Thursday. Me and my homie Cam were headed out to film the music video for Desperados to the desert. And we left for that on Friday. We had the call on Thursday. The call goes awesome because I'm like, okay, it's another one of those label calls. Yeah. Oh, we like your stuff, man. Like, check up with us in like 5 to 6 years. Like,
yeah.
Like let's just see. All right, cool. Yeah, peace. So I'm like, okay, another one of these, bet. But it was not that. It was the opposite of that. Like everybody was just felt the energy, and it was really crazy. So I end the call thinking like, okay, because they were talking about Desperados. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're getting a single deal, bet. And then I get off the call. My manager calls me. He's like, yo, we need to get some things, like some ducks in a row here because you're about to get a record deal.
Whoa.
Holy shit. And this is right before we leave for the holidays, 2020, end of 2020. And so we go to film this music video in the desert. I got my AirPods in, talking to my lawyer, going over these deal points, wheeling and dealing. Film the music video. It's awesome. It's just me and my homie Cam with a generator and 2 quasars in his camera. I'm on play.
That's right.
It was fucking awesome, man. And so then we get back and we sign the deal Monday.
Whoa, that's quick.
This was less than a week long. This was like a weekend long process. It was crazy.
Do you call your dad and your mom and are like, hey, like I just signed to a major like that must have been quite a phone call.
Oh yeah. The mom and dad relationship is great, and it's always been great. After the college thing, it was a little rocky because obviously it's they want
they want the best for you.
They want security, they want safety, they don't want me to starve and die. So
of course.
I get it. I always got it. But I just knew that it was gonna happen. You can't explain that. You can't plan it out. Like I don't have the plan. Like I don't know how it's gonna work. I just know it is. And so there was proof in the pudding, like along the way, I think. But the deal, it was just like, guys, we did it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. So got the deal. Been loving working with Elektra, man. We got, shouts out to them. They got fucking Travis Barker on my title track on my EP.
I know. I want to talk to you about the new EP for sure. Just to touch on kind of this, you changed sonically a little bit when it came to, you put Mosh Pit out, but you said When You're Sober was written beforehand. So that sounds like, and that has that guitar-y sound. So was it like, oh, we should go this route, and then you started messing with that and went with mixtape or Mosh Pit as like the first in that style? Or
yeah, basically I made When You're Sober, and then I brought When You're Sober into every single studio session that I did for like a year. Okay. I was like, this is the best song I've ever made. I want to make more of these. And tried to do my best to replicate it. And just the feeling of the song. The song just feels good, it's up, it's in your face, it feels like an anthem. And then Mosh Pit was also with Danny Maich. Been a really dope homie of mine. He's so fire. I love working with musicians, man. Because there's beat makers and there's musicians. Getting into a room with a musician has been, and honestly, I'm a little jaded by it at this point. But when somebody can pop up from the chair, pop over to the synth, pull up the bass, play the bass guitar, they rocking like playing every instrument, and then like getting back down and then producing it out. It's the craziest shit. And I think the craziest shit ends up coming from that because you have so much freedom to move in these ways that you couldn't if you're pulling up splice loops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they can go essentially help you create anything. Like, oh, I have this idea. Like, oh yeah, let me grab the bass, whatever it may be. So with this new EP, when do you start working on this? And you obviously you get Travis Barker on the record. Who were you working with? Were you working with the same people when you wrote this album or wrote this EP?
Yeah, I was working with everybody, man. And then especially like once I signed the deal, it was speed dating to the maximum. I was in sessions. I was in a crazy amount of sessions, and it was always with new people. So I think what that did was really help me like get the spiel down and like understand what I wanted to get across in the music that I wanted to make. I think, you know, this EP is super dope, and it's super dope how it came together because it was kind of retroactively. You know, I mean, When You're Sober, like I said, that's a song from 2020. And then we have, you know, The Internet, which we just finished, like, you know, right before it came out, honestly. So it's been all over the place. And I think, you know, it's kind of cool just to have those songs from over these, you know, 2-year span of random places of where I was. And you know, I'm just super stoked it came together the way it did because the songs sound great together. You know, the Travis feature, I'm so blessed to have, you know, the fucking legend on my song.
How did you have the song done and sent it over to him and he just did his thing?
Yeah, man, we were we were listening to all the tracks in a row with Johnny, and we heard Never Have I Ever, and we were like, it's missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's missing something. I think it's just missing the feeling of this song. And he was like, yeah, we should have some like live instruments on it, like drums. I was like, yeah, that's what it is. And he was like, we should get Travis Barker. And we were all like, yeah. And then like a week later, he's like, all right, bet. We got Travis Barker. I was like, what, bro? That man is a fucking mover and a shaker. He's the GOAT. Shout out.
But he also he knows talent, right? And like he works with a lot of people, but he works with people that he knows are, you know, it's like worthy of his service type deal. You know, you're not going to he's not going to just get hired out to anything because he doesn't have to. Well, so the fact that he goes, yeah, man, this guy's sick, I want to play on his song, like that's insane.
Yeah, I'm honored, honestly. I really am. It's gonna be dope, man. I'm so excited for this to come out next week.
How many songs are on the EP? Because those Miss Internet or Miss Independent, The Internet, and When You're Sober are all on the record or the EP.
Yep, and then we got 2 new ones coming out.
Okay, so Never Have I Ever, and then another new one.
Yep.
Cool. I'm excited, man. I can't.
We'll say the title. Fine. Yeah, we got Hollywood, and
I'll put it out after. We'll put out the conversation after it's out or around the time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So tell me about this. What's the other one? I want to hear about this song.
Hollywood's a dope song, man. It kind of prompted. I know we're talking about this first EP, but it really prompted this kind of move into this really honed in sound that I have. We actually just got out of a writing camp 2 days ago. 5 days, 20 sessions. And I think we ended up with 37 songs.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
And it was 5 days from noon to 1 a.m. And oh man, it was 2 rooms. It was fucking insane. And the songs that we came out with, woo, I'm excited. But yeah, Hollywood's a dope one because, you know, it's got substance to it. And it talks about, you know, the ups and downs of, you know, coming out to LA to a big city from Chesterfield, Missouri. Everything's so much different, you know, the feelings that you have as an artist and, you know, navigating that. And I really liked what that was talking about. And I liked the sound of the song. And I was like, this is it. This is fire. I want to do more of this. And so, you know, that prompted what's next.
What's coming next. So Hollywood will set the tone for the new stuff coming out with you.
Yes, it will.
Exciting. I love it, man. Well, I can't wait to hear the rest of the EP. And like I said, I love what you're doing now and the sound that you have with the pop punk kind of rock guitars and your voice over it. It sounds so good.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. Are you playing any shows? Are you doing anything to support the EP?
So I'm going on tour with Peachtree Rascals in October, and that'll be my first tour ever. I'm so excited about that. I think we're getting some smaller shows together for this EP, but they're gonna be dope. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Well, congratulations, and thank you so much for taking time to hang out with me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Adam.
Yeah, I have one more quick question for you, Miles, before I let you go.
Sir,
I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Yeah, do that shit every day. Do that shit every day. Don't get too precious and put it out. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Bring it backwards.